Most garden problems don't start with bugs. They start with a plant we invited in on purpose. Because a plant can be popular, even sold at the nursery, and still be the one quietly stealing your garden's strength underground. Today, I'm walking you through 5 common plants that can overwhelm beds, dry out soil, or block vegetables from thriving, and the simple boundaries that make them safe. And stay to the end, because once you see the pattern, you'll start spotting these root neighborhood bullies before they ever move in. Welcome back to Family Yard Kitchen, where we keep the garden, yard, and everyday family food working together calmly. Mint feels like the perfect beginner herb. It smells clean, it grows fast, you pinch a few leaves and you've got tea, a garnish, a fresh little moment. And yes, researchers do test mint oils as insect repellents in labs, but that's usually concentrated oil, not a little patch in the ground. So mint can help around the edges, but it's not a mosquito force field. Here's the real issue. Mint spreads through underground stems called rhizomes. Think of them like wires under the soil. They run sideways, then pop up new mint plants wherever they go. So you plant one nice mint, and a season later you're finding it in the tomatoes, under the strawberries, beside the flowers, everywhere. And nearby plants start looking tired, not because you're a bad gardener, but because mint is taking water and nutrients first. The safe way to grow mint: put it in a pot, or in a raised bed with a solid barrier, or even a container set near the kitchen door. Easy harvest, zero takeover. If you love the mint smell but want something more polite, consider mountain mint out at the far edge for pollinators. Still useful, usually easier to manage than a runaway patch. Bamboo gets planted with big hopes: privacy, a living fence, that fast green wall. And I get it, few plants look as clean and peaceful as bamboo swaying in the wind. But here's the split you must know: clumping bamboo versus running bamboo. Running types, often in the Philostachys group, spread through aggressive rhizomes that can travel several feet in a growing season. And once those rhizomes are in, they don't politely stop at your property line or the edge of your garden bed. They push into pathways, under fences, into planting areas, and suddenly soil that used to hold moisture starts drying out faster than it should. The safe way to do bamboo: choose clumping varieties when possible. If you're set on a running type, install a thick barrier about 28 to 30 inches deep and make sure it sticks 2 to 3 inches above the soil, because rhizomes can hop over shallow barriers. And quick note, if you like practical, no-drama help like this, subscribe. We post calm, step-by-step videos for families building real food resilience in small spaces. Black walnut trees feel like a gift: shade, beauty, valuable nuts, a tree you plant for the next generation. Scientific name is Juglans nigra. But black walnut plays a different game underground. It produces a natural chemical called juglone, released from roots, leaves, and debris that can suppress many common garden plants. And the tricky part is how it looks. Your tomatoes don't usually drop dead overnight. They weaken, they yellow, they stall out. Peppers struggle, potatoes look off, flowers thin out. You blame pests or fertilizer or weather, while the real cause is the tree quietly shaping the rules of the soil. A mature walnut can affect sensitive plants 50 to 80 feet away, especially under the drip line, so the safest fix is simply distance. But if a walnut is already on your property, you're not stuck. Some crops tolerate juglone better, like beans, beets, carrots, corn, onions, squash, and melons. So you can place your beds on the far side and choose crops that don't mind the neighborhood. Comment question: what's one plant you regret putting in the ground because it spread, shaded, or stole space? Drop it below. Your answer might save another family a season of frustration. Bermuda grass is sold as tough, drought-tolerant, low maintenance. Scientific name is Cynodon dactylon. In a lawn, that toughness can look like a win. In a garden, it's a quiet invasion. Bermuda spreads in 3 ways: by seed, by underground rhizomes, and by above-ground runners called stolons. And in warm seasons, it can creep 3 feet or more sideways in 1 year. Here's why it's so destructive near vegetable beds. A big portion of its root mass lives in the top few inches of soil, the exact zone your lettuces, beans, and seedlings need most. So even if you water well, you're often feeding the grass first. The safe way to manage it: don't let a Bermuda lawn touch your beds. Use deep edging or a buried barrier, or build raised beds with a clear separation layer. And right here, this is one of those big difference moments. If you want a simple way to plan beds so plants cooperate instead of compete, my book Veggie Matchmakers helps you pair crops and lay out your garden in a calm, practical way, especially in small spaces. Eucalyptus gets planted for fast shade, wind protection, and that clean scent. But eucalyptus evolved with strong survival tools. First, many species use a lot of water. In real field settings, soil near eucalyptus plantings can be noticeably drier than soil farther away, and crops tend to do better with distance. Second, some eucalyptus species release compounds that can suppress germination and growth nearby, and their leaf litter can change soil conditions as it breaks down, slowly. And just like the others, the damage is usually quiet. Beds that never seem to hold moisture, plants that stay small, diversity dropping over time. The safe approach: plant eucalyptus well away from vegetable beds and mixed plantings, and keep leaf litter out of your beds. Rake it, compost it separately, and mulch your garden with cleaner materials. And a safety note: don't use concentrated eucalyptus oils heavily around kids, pets, or chickens, and don't feed eucalyptus leaves to your birds. When you look at all five, mint, running bamboo, black walnut, Bermuda, and eucalyptus, the pattern is simple. None of them are evil, they're just powerful neighbors. Mint is the neighbor who parks 3 cars in your driveway. Bermuda is the neighbor who builds a shed halfway into your yard. Black walnut is the neighbor who quietly changes the rules so your tomatoes can't live there anymore. Healthy gardens aren't built by trends or fast growth. They're built by boundaries, containers, barriers, distance, and smart placement. Before you go, thank you truly for staying with me to the very end. If you know someone who loves gardening, or someone who's been feeling the grocery prices lately and wants to grow food the safe, steady way, please share this video with them. Sometimes one simple tip at the right time saves an entire season. If you want the next step after this, more food security, more reliable harvests, even in small spaces, watch this next. 16 survival garden crops for food security, small space growing for families. It's a really practical guide, and it pairs perfectly with what we talked about today.